Hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everyone. Hello, folks. I am gonna wait to see if I can wait for some folks to join me here. I'm definitely gonna jump in just a second. Let's see. Make sure everything's working correctly. Okay, so looks like I am live. Wonderful. All right. So let's jump in for today. This is day one of Ancestral Authority. If you've been catching my post or not, today is about breaking the patterns. Your genetic inheritance is not like the sentence on your life that's permanently determining what will or won't happen for you in your health. Um, if you're here and you're seeing this replay, I want you to drop where you're from in the comments. I'll be reading everything as it comes in, but even if I don't catch it in this exact moment, I'll make sure that I go back and just comment on anything that anybody is saying. Um, and really, I want to take a deep breath before we really jump in. If you're able to put one hand over your heart, one hand on your belly, or wherever feels natural on your body, and just take one slow, deep breath in and let it out. We're going to slow down together today. It's really actually the whole point to just slow down together today. Um, I want you to be able to take a moment, to take a beat, to really think and to reflect on what was passed down, not just a diagnosis and not just, family dispositions across, different diagnoses, but what was passed down as generational emotional ways of being or ways of thinking or approaches to life that you're ready to let go of. Take the time if you need to, like, start a note on your phone, grab a journal real quick to really reflect with me today. Hey Susie, welcome. I'm so glad you're here, girl. Welcome, welcome, girl. Where are you tuning in from? So glad you made it. Where are you tuning in from? Yeah, and so when we really think about what was passed down through the generations, it's not just the physical, it's not just the genetics. There's so much more to it. Hey Tia, welcome. Hello, hello, girl. There's so much truth to why these generational patterns, these generational tendencies have been passed down. And there's more that matters here than any framework or teaching that I'm about to share today. One truth that lives with me is that my grandmother didn't make it to 60 years old. She passed away before that. She ran out of time before she really had a chance to focus on herself, her dreams, and what she wanted to do. She spent her life raising her children, her family, being involved as a minister of music in the church. And she left a beautiful legacy, and there's no downplaying that. But she ran out of time before anyone ever taught her that her body was trying to talk to her. Not betray her, talk to her. She didn't have someone to sit down and walk through her symptoms, her emotional patterns, her health history, her medication list, the medical, nutritional, generational injury that she sustained that contributed to her passing. So I made her a promise that I really didn't even have complete language for yet at the time in my spirit. When I was 20 something year old, I made a promise to my grandmother. Even though she had already passed, it just was really important to me to honor her. And I promised that I would learn what she never got the chance to learn. And I would not hand the same silence down to the women who came after me, including my own daughter. That I would be a safe place for women to explore what has happened to them, what happened before them, so they can change the trajectory of their health. And that's really what Ancestral Authority is about. It's that promise that I made to my grandmother and really to myself made real. So I am the woman who broke the pattern. Not trying to, not working on it. I broke the pattern. I was able to guide myself through so many medical challenges through my life. Even though I'm only 38, I've navigated PCOS, postpartum depletion, postpartum depression, and most recently, cavitations, which are a form of a jaw infection that came from wisdom teeth that were extracted that never healed properly. And the only way to correct it was through surgery and a naturopathic recovery plan to restore my body. I do not remain silent, and I'm willing to look deeply into what may be hidden in terms of infection, inflammation, the total load on the body, like viruses, bacteria, environmental exposures to toxins, medical injury like dental toxicity, for example. And as I have explored this for myself, and I've explored this the last 16 years with my clients, I wanted to be able to hand any woman that came in contact with me the actual map. Not just the feeling that something needs to change, but the actual map on how to do that. And that's what I'm starting to do today. Before we go further, I left a question with some of you this week, and I want to leave it with everyone now. Where in your own story have you been treating a pattern like a verdict instead of information? And again, this could be a diagnosis, this can be a health concern, but it can also be more than that. If you're open to it, please share in the comments. A pattern that's been inherited from generations before you, that has felt like it was the end of a sentence, but you're ready to make it the beginning of a question instead. So where in your story have you been treating a pattern like a verdict instead of information? If you don't want to answer it right now, that's okay. You don't have to answer that out loud right now. Just carry it, because we're going to come back to it, and I want you to sit today. Remember, we needed a notebook. We needed some reflection time today. So sit with that, and let's keep learning and exploring together today. So I want to take you back, not to your own story yet, but to a much older one. There's a framework that I work from called the 5 waves of feminine healing. And through our 4-day live experience, 3 days that I'll be going live here on Facebook, but then the 4th day will be a private Zoom for us to really get deeper into this conversation, I will reveal all 5 waves of feminine healing. But today, I want to only focus on wave 1. Wave 1 asks one question about feminine healing. How did we live in harmony with life? How did we live in harmony in life? In this wave, authority over the body wasn't concentrated anywhere. It wasn't sitting in a hospital or a lab or one expert's office. It was distributed. It was held by the woman herself, by her ancestry, by her community. Wisdom was inherited. You didn't have to purchase it or wait for someone in a white coat to hand it to you. That's not how most of us grew up understanding our bodies. Somewhere along the way, and we'll talk about exactly where tomorrow, that authority got taken out of the woman's hands and put somewhere else. But I want you to sit in wave 1 with me today. Because before we talk about what broke, I want you to feel what was actually there originally. It was distributed, communal, village. It was yours. It was ours. Let that sink in, what it was originally like. And drop in the comments, what's one piece of your body wisdom that was passed down to you, even if it got buried under everything else? It could be a remedy, a seasonal practice, like, oh, we give the children cod liver oil with a slice of oranges. It could be a saying, a practice, like the laying on of hands was very big, something that was passed down to me. Tending to the children during sickness by softly cupping the ribs cage along the abdomen and the side of the body. In my Latina heritage, there was a lot of Vicks Vapor Rub going on. But we also would boil things like clove and cinnamon and orange peels to help give a great fragrance to the air, but it was also purifying. So what was, again, one piece of body wisdom that was passed down to you, even if it got buried under everything else? A remedy, a saying, a practice. I want to see them. Let's make a little collection right here on this live today. What was passed down to you? So if authority was originally distributed, right? It was originally inherited and it was yours. How do we find our way back to it individually in our own bodies right now? That's what the compass is for. I designed the compass as the first way to find your way back, just like a compass directs you, right? It puts you in the right direction. It orients you to the right direction, right? The compass doesn't tell you what's wrong with you. It's not a diagnosis. What it does is maps the injury. What happened to you? Because before you can heal anything, you have to actually be able to see it clearly. Strip away the label of a diagnosis so that you can really see. You can really see. Tia said, I literally learned on my own, and I guess via curiosity for my own health. Wow, that's powerful. That's powerful. So you did it for yourself. Your authority has been within yourself. So instead of it being distributed, It has lied with you. That's beautiful. That's powerful. Going back to the compass, here's the whole shape of it. The compass maps the injury. Once it's mapped, you can finally see the medicine, and that is your North Star. This is the key to the road back to authority. Injury, medicine, North Star, road back to authority. That's the whole arc we're talking together about over these 4 days. Today is just step one, and that's naming the injury that exists and that it is mappable. It's not a mystery, it's not a character flaw that you have, it is mappable. So I'm going to drop the link to be able to take the compass. When you take it, you can actually send it to me, and I'll be able to review that with you, and we can have a really good conversation about what you're seeing and what I'm seeing together. Susie said, I believe that's me as well. My family didn't pass anything down to me, and my mom passed when I was 15. So your life put you in a position where you had to be the authority. What was some decisions that you made in your learning, such as a training that you took, or books that you read, or certain practices that you now have for yourself? Yes, Susie, I sent you an email, dear. Please let me know if you got it so we can start discussing your compass. So I'll give you one small piece of my own map today. Not the whole thing, that comes later, but one landmark. And there was a point in my own healing where I thought that I'd finally figured out everything. I'd done the work. I reversed what I thought I needed to reverse. I had reversed insulin resistance PCOS. And then my body did something I didn't understand after I was already pretty sure I understood it. That's a landmark. Not the whole story, just a marker on the map. We all have those. A moment where you thought you knew, and then your body told you that there was more to the story. So another way to think about this is a phrasing that's called antecedents, mediators, and triggers. We look at what came before your symptoms started, what happened when your symptoms started, what makes it worse, what makes it better, what triggers it. And by mapping your body with that, you're able to really understand each landmark, each marker on your personal body map. Let's see. Tia said, I'm the only healer in my family. Massage, esthetician, I imagine. Holistic health coach. I did break the generational curse of teen pregnancy. Yes. So that's ancestral authority. Both of you are living embodiment of what we're talking about today. So I'm not asking you to share your full story today, but I just want you to notice. Do you have a landmark like that for your body? A moment your body surprised you after you thought that the chapter was closed? For example, after I reversed insulin resistance PCOS and I had my third child, I developed another form of PCOS called adrenal PCOS, and I had to relearn how to help my body get back to a state of homeostasis and reverse the diagnosis again. So that's a landmark, right? And by me being able to map it with the antecedents, the mediators, and the triggers, what came before, what happened at the time that the symptoms started, what makes it better, what makes it worse, and what triggers flares or worsening periods with those particular sets of symptoms. I was able to also better understand what my body needed from me in their real time needs. You know, Susie, I find that when we enter authority over our body, our womb, our health, the ancestral imprints that we were given, when we enter authority over our femininity, over our spirituality, our relationship with our Creator, over how we relate to other people if we become a practitioner, just like Tia became a practitioner through her journey and developing authority as a practitioner. As we have these ever progressing levels of authority in our journey, we become more polarizing. We're not for everybody, but that's okay. Because when you're really clear on who you are, you have authority at all these different levels within your being in your life, then you also know who you are for, where you are well received, and you get to determine where you put yourself. You get to determine where you put yourself. Who gets to hear your words? Who gets to be graced with your presence? Who gets to have your energy and who don't? You get to determine, once you develop authority, how to direct your attention and your energy. Yes, Tia, 14 years of standing in that practitioner authority. And honestly, you get to the point where whatever the family is doing, whatever friends that don't accept you, that are no longer friends, are doing, it just doesn't matter. You just become completely focused on your own work with your own body. Yes, it's such a powerful place to be a pattern breaker, to have full ancestral authority. What other people do or don't do then becomes irrelevant. So here's what I want to leave you with today. The pattern you carry is not a verdict. It's just information, it's data. And starting today, we're beginning to introduce the framework for reading it instead of just repeating it. So I'm going to leave the link to the compass in the comments. Feel free to DM me personally as well. Tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, same place, we will go further. We'll talk about where that authority actually went after wave one, why the old way of chasing symptoms is done, it's ending. And between now and then, there's a guidebook and a short audio letter that will be waiting for you. Nothing to do with them except receive them, but I'll get those to you later today. And if today moves something in you, tell me in the comments before you go. I'll make sure to read every one. Again, feel free to DM me. Let's continue this conversation. And I'll see you tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.